All right, so this is going to be a video kind of summarizing chapters 4.1, 4.2, and 4.3, really 4.2 and 4.3, which are on the very basics of probability. So the first things you should be able to do is tackle a probability when it has sort of a table format, which basically a table is that you're tracking 2 or 3 categories per item that you pick. So in this case, we're tracking 2 categories: the gender of the person, boy or girl, and the hair of a person, the hair color, brown or blonde. Excuse me, I have something in my throat here, so I might be coughing a little bit. So we want the probability of picking a girl or someone with brown hair. So the first thing you do before you even look at your questions actually is if you have this, you want to get a grand total, right? So we figure out how many people total are we dealing with, which is just the sum of all the numbers there. Whoops, I keep hitting that 4 key. So I'm going to add up all these numbers here. So 4 plus 6, or 14 plus 6 is 20. 12 plus 28 is 1, 2, 3, that'd be 40. So in total, I have 60 people in this sample, right? 60 people sample. Okay. So if I pick one of those people, what's the chance I pick a girl or someone who has brown hair? Well, I have 60 people total. The chance I pick a girl or someone with brown hair would be, well, girl is these two numbers, 12 and 28. So I'm going to circle those two because those fall in the girl category. So 12 plus 28 plus, and then brown hair. So brown hair falls into this category, which includes the 14. So plus 14. I do not count 12 twice, even though it's circled twice, because I've already counted it once. I don't want to double count those people. So it'd be 12 plus 28 plus 14, which is going to end up being 1, 2, 3, 40. So it'd be 54. So it'd be 54 out of 60, whatever that decimal is going to be, right? And you should write your probability as a decimal or a fraction. I'll leave it for you to divide because I trust you guys can get your decimal from that. But that's how you do an OR probability, is you figure out how many people fall into the first category, in this case 12 and 28, how many people fall into the second category, in this case 14 and 12, but I don't count the 12 twice because I already counted it once here, so I'm not going to count again, so just the 14. And then you simply divide it by your total, which is why you need to get this number first. The probability of picking a boy or someone with blonde hair. So again, we have our total on bottom, first thing we should get. A boy, so if I do that here, what are my boy numbers? So in this case, my boy numbers are 14 and 6. So I have 14 plus 6. And then blonde hair. So blonde hair is going to be these two numbers here. I already counted the 6, so it's just going to be plus 28, which is going to give me 48 out of 60. And whatever that decimal is going to be, that's going to be my answer for that one. Again, total on bottom, it's a 14 by the way. Total on bottom, the numbers that fit your categories on top, get it down to a single fraction, and then there's your answer. Okay? The only tricky part about this is the and. So this case it says picking a blonde hair girl. So a blonde hair girl is another way of saying picking somebody with, if I rewrite this here, the probability of picking someone who is a girl and has blonde hair. Or you can say is a blonde hair and is a girl, whatever you want. Whichever one comes first doesn't matter, right? I'm aware that blonde is spelled incorrectly, by the way. I'm just too lazy to fix it right now. So this is an and question in disguise. The probability of picking a blonde-haired girl is someone who is a girl and blonde, which in this case, the only number that satisfies that is 28, right? 6 is not a part of the girl category. 12 is not part of the blonde-haired category. The and means that your number needs to satisfy both conditions at the same time, in which case 28 is the only number that does that. So it'd be 28 out of 60, and whatever decimal you get, that's your answer. Okay? Excuse me. So and usually requires just one number because that's just the people in that specific zone, right? Blonde and girl. So just that number. The ors are the ones where you have to think a little bit and say, okay, well, what numbers are going to fit my categories here? In which case, again, is 12, 28, and 14, and then 14, 6, and 28 for the bottom one there. So ors require you to, again, think a little bit. Ands require you to pick the number that fits both categories at the same time. So, in terms of probability, that's the main thing about the RPS over this stuff here. Odds is the other main thing, right? So, odds are not probability. Odds are very similar but different in one major way. The odds consider what is good and what is bad. The probability considers what is good on top and what is total on bottom. Slight but important difference. So, there's 3 kinds of odds: odds in favor, odds against, and payoff. So the odds in favor of picking red is basically then if it's in favor, right? In favor means you start with the good stuff. So the number of ways to pick a red, the good stuff, colon, and the number of ways not to pick a red, the bad stuff. So this is red. This is the complement of red in a sense, or just not red. Not red. Well, there's 3 red, so there's 3 ways it can go right. There's 3 not reds, so it's 3 ways it can go wrong. So in total, my odds are 1 to 1, right? Which again is like 1 to 1 odds is 50-50. Think about it that way, right? There's for every one way it could go right, there's one way it could go wrong. I could pick this red marble, or I could pick that green marble, 1 to 1. I could pick this red marble, or I can pick that blue marble, 1 to 1. I can pick this red marble, or I can pick this blue marble, 1 to 1. So for every one way it could go right, there's one way there that it could also go wrong. Odds against is the same thing, but in reverse. So the odds against of picking blue is you want the not stuff first, so not blue, and the good stuff last, blue. So how many not blues are there? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 not blues. How many blues are there? Only 2. So the odds against picking blue is 2 to 1, right? 2 ways it can go wrong for every 1 way it can go right. So here's 1 way it could go right. Here are 2 ways it can go wrong. Here's the other way it can go right. Here are the other 2 ways it can go wrong. So for every 1 way there is to go right, there's 2 ways to go wrong, and that's what this is saying here. So odds in favor is ways it can go right, ways it can go wrong. Odds against is the opposite, ways it can go wrong, ways it can go right. The payoffs are the only ones that are a little bit trickier. Excuse me. So what the payoff odds say is if this is 12 to 3, that's what the payoff odds are in this problem here. For every the second number is how much you bet. For every $3 you bet, you earn 12 bucks. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. So for every $3 you bet, you're going to make $12. So the first number is how much you make. The second number is how much you have to bet to make that. So for every 3 I bet, I earn 12. So if I'm betting 9 bucks, well, I want to basically think about, okay, if this is 9 over here, what's this number got to be? Well, 3 times 3 gives me 9. Thus, 12 times 3 would give me 36. So I would make 36 bucks off of a $9 bet if those are my payoff odds, right? Again, the odds of picking red, the payoff odds, means if you pick red, you're going to earn $12 for every 3 that you bet. So you figure out how many 3s did you bet. In this case, I bet 3 3s, aka 9. And so I'm going to make 12 3 times, in this case, 36. I could also ask you something like, what if you made 120 bucks on a bet using those odds? How much did you have to bet? Well, same deal. If my payoff odds are 12 to 3, if I earn 10 times the profit, that means I had to bet 10 times the money. So here is times 10. So I would have had to bet 30 bucks to make that much money. So you can go either way. I can give you the amount of money you won, and you can tell me how much you had to bet to make that. Or what I typically do is I give you how much money you bet, and you tell me how much money you would win off that bet, again, should you win. So in a nutshell, that's the summary of the main ideas. This is not by any means a thorough going through the chapter here. This is just meant to think, okay, well, you've done the chapters, you've done the homework, you're still looking for kind of a little summary about what the important bits are from those 2 chapters, and here it is, right? Again, not comprehensive. This covers about 90% of your RPS stuff, I would consider. But as of at least 2022 when I'm making this video. But it should take care of the main points. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, hopefully this helped you out. Have a good day.